If Google's algorithm was tasked with making a Wes Anderson movie, it would look exactly like this. So let's get 5 minutes up on the board and talk The French Dispatch. Wes Anderson is one of the most recognized directors working today, so let's just do a recap of his filmography. He makes movies for adults and children, and his best ones are very lighthearted, and the charm of everything he does is rooted in nostalgia. The best examples are Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel. He's got a lot of hits. However, the worst case scenario for him is whenever he loses his sense of story, becoming way too technical and very cold. This is things like Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Darjeeling Limited, and there's always something even in the worst Wes Anderson movies for his fans because the style is so much of the substance of what he does. Wes Anderson's range of story and style actually broadened after working in actual animation. Like, you see that from Moonrise Kingdom and Grand Budapest Hotel. That was after the very lackluster response of Zissou and Darjeeling Limited, which were very stale. So Fantastic Mr. Fox kind of helped pull him out of a stylistic rut. And if failure for him does mold him into a better filmmaker, then let us pray to God that French Dispatch fails. After all, a pile of crap is a pile of crap even when dressed up by Wes Anderson and sat on the French Riviera. There is no heart in The French Dispatch. Part of me wants to see this again because I'm a fan and I want there to be something else going on, but there's only style here. Anderson has a wonderful blend of style and substance feeding off of one another, but here, this is nothing but style. He's a much better filmmaker than this. This is a little bit of the Tarantino syndrome, where there are some of his movies that there are tons of moments that show he's an incredible filmmaker, but as a whole, it just does not fit. I think the biggest problem in this movie, though, is that we're working with a portmanteau story, meaning a collection of short films. Some of these stories are better than others, but none of them are all that great. The police story is the best and actually could be its own movie. I wish he kind of would have just gone on and do that. But there are so many moments in each one of these shorts where you get just bored enough to ask yourself, how much longer do you think we have until the next short story? And there are 4 of these short stories, meaning that you get that feeling at least 4 times in The French Dispatch, making an hour and 45-minute movie feel like you're watching something well over 2 hours. And look, I am sure there is enough history and reference here for an English professor to fill an entire semester with. Like, look at my It Follows review. I think that if you cannot get an audience involved on an emotional level, then it does not matter what you have written beneath the surface. If there is nothing at the surface, who the hell's going to want to inspect the foundation of this thing? There is no story here. Anderson has proved many, many, many times that he's a great storyteller. And he's a great filmmaker because he's a great visual storyteller. Okay, but Anderson has also showed that he can become way too full of himself for his own good. I hope that this movie does not get praised by critics because this should not be cemented in Wes Anderson's head as a good idea to make this type of movie. And look, I hope that this is a Life Aquatic moment. It might not be good, but hopefully we can all look back on it as being necessary in his evolution of becoming an even more and more unique filmmaker. But in the end, it does not matter how symmetrical the frame is. It does not matter how baroque the score is. And it does not matter how grumpy Bill Murray is. If there is no story, there is no excitement. This is not a Wes Anderson movie. It is totally lacking his storytelling charm, leaving The French Dispatch feeling completely heartless. If this is a trend in his filmography, every now and then we get an indulgent movie that is very style over substance, and that is needed to get him to a higher track of expertise. I think that's fair, but that's the best I can say about The French Dispatch. Wes Anderson said in an interview that The French Dispatch is 100% the movie that he wanted to make, and I think that is incredibly cute. But damn, let's get this man a producer. Thank you very much for watching. If you disagree with the review, leave your review in the comments, and please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.